Mic is hot. I think it is. Camera's not hot. Mic's hot. Happy Father's Day. Good to see everybody. I know it's late, but I've been busy most of the day. So, anyway, good to see you. Good to be here. I had a great Father's Day. It was fantastic. I had a really, really, really nice day with my children and my two nephews, my aunt and uncle, cousin, his family. We got together and hung out. And it was a good time. Good food, good company, because I was there. And then other than that, it was just a nice little day. It's hard to, but anyway, good to see you. Good to be here. It feels a little lab after darkish, but we're on lab time right now. We're going to talk about an interview that I have not listened to since it happened. And with this 3-year anniversary, I've kind of started to sort of feel a little reinvigorated to keep on. I know that people want to talk about the Sebastian Rogers case, and I haven't talked about that much lately. I mean, you got many others covering it. Then when I want to weigh in on it, I guess I will. That's kind of the beauty of this whole situation, is that when I want to, I guess I'll do it. But that's for another day. I was watching Justin's show a few minutes ago. He's still live? Unbelievable. That is extreme stamina. I don't know how you guys do that. Holy crap. That's amazing. I'm like an hour tops. I'm not good. I'm not good at this. Like, I cannot. I mean, I've never been able to do that. That's impressive. I have never, ever done a 6-hour live. Like, if we do the whole thing tonight, the interview, I mean, we could be here for a while, but who wants to do that? I don't want to keep you that long, do I? No. I want to keep myself that long, do I? No. Anyway, it is amazing though. I've seen people like they are just professional streamers. They're just good at it. I'm not good at it at all. Not for 6 hours, you wouldn't, trust me. But if I was to stream for 6 hours, by hour 3 and a half, maybe going anything after 3 hours is dangerous time for me. I would, I don't know. You never know where your blood sugar is going to go. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. I would be lost in space. I would just be hanging out there. And really just, it would probably end with me being banned off YouTube forever, somehow, some way. I'm sure I would get banned off. Yeah. Uh, he is. That's a lot. I wouldn't fall asleep. I wouldn't fall asleep. I don't get tired like that, but I would by the end, I would probably it would probably look something similar to this. Like let's see. And this is just for an example, okay? No okay, so this would be hour 6 me reading a comment. Coming in a little late. Hi guys. Hi. What's up? Bye. It wouldn't be good. Who has 6 hours of content? I don't know. People do it. They do it, man. I can't do nothing like that. I can't do it. Lonesome Dove. Is that the one with is Lonesome Dove the one with Robert Duvall? Robert Duvall? Is that what that is? I can't remember. Oh, look. Yeah, I've listened to radio shows that were 4 or 5 hours. It's just impressive that people can do it. What's up, Dr. Eve? But no, I wouldn't fall asleep, I don't think. Maybe I would. I don't know. Let's see. Looking here. Chase Louise. Louise. Anyway. All right. I'll never forget that weird guy. You went into his live and the look on your face. Let me see. I don't know if I have it here. I can look. Maybe if I change profiles, maybe it's on my other profile. You talking about this one? Is that the one you're talking about? Mary? Yeah, that was a day. That was interesting. Yeah, I was testing out a new app and it was awful. Like that was bad. I was genuinely terrified. I was like, what the hell? I thought I was talking to Heath Ledger. I got really nervous. I got really scared. And yeah, I mean, that was terrifying. I got to tell you. So and then I was just talking to him. I was like, well, what's up with your, what's up with that? You know? And he's like, what's up with what? It's like your costume. And he's like, I don't know. It's called cosplay. And I was like, I'm not built for this world. I'm just not. I don't even know what that is. I didn't even look it up. I didn't want to. I don't want anybody to explain it to me. I assume it means costume or cosmetic play. But not something. He was nice. He's a nice guy. No problem with him. It's just that disconcerting. I think that's the right word. That's the word. It was a little like I knew that he couldn't physically get to me, but I was expecting to see a human. And I mean, I guess he is a human, but look at his face. And the funny thing, you can't even see, he was smoking like one of those beady cigarettes. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that like kids would smoke in high school, like go down to the smoker's corner or whatever. Not that I ever did that, but you go down to smoker's corner and then it says stream starting soon. We are derailed. Thank you for never forgetting our summer rap trap gangster 222. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Rachel Wolf, happy spectacular 17 months. Thank you for 17 months. Much love and God bless. And happy Father's Day again to everybody that is here. That's a father. And I know there's a lot of ladies out there that do both. That's not a shot at gender. That is something that is just very prominent in today's day and age. Okay, brand. Let me see. How do I get back to? Oh no, I'm screwed. I'm stuck. Oh no, wait. Hello there. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Jose Roman or Roman or however it is you pronounce his name. Rest in peace. He passed away many months ago, if not over a year ago, and I always remembered what he said. I remember it vaguely, but I mean, there was some, to me, I always found the guy pretty credible. You know, as credible as anybody that you're going to get in a case like this. And I think that that's fair to assume that it was, because he wasn't really outlandish. I mean, there are a few parts that I don't quite understand, or maybe that he was possibly minimizing or whatever it is that you want to call it. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Well, I'm not really sure how that's going. 30 months. God, that's a long time. Whistle. What up, Whistle? Good to see you. Okay. Back to it. Hey, that thing's got to go. It's got to go. I don't want it. I don't need it. But I do need to find this. And shout out to the interview room. I'll link the video in the description. Stream starting soon. Stream has already started. Oh, all right, great. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the interview rooms. I'm Chris McDonough. How are you today, Budge? Good, Chris. How are you? I'm doing well. Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Thank you for wishing me a happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Chris. You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, bud. All right. I'm lost here. I need my third monitor. Give me a second. I told you I'm not professional. I don't hate the bottle, but its temperament towards me is always sour, never sweet. We don't get along. And my mom says I need Jesus, but my grandpa says I'm fine. I swap whiskey for the wine. Talk to God. Okay. Did I do it? I mean, if that's the most incriminating thing in this case, then it would be it would be solved. What about the phones that Candace didn't turn over? You know, I mean, I get what you're saying, but holy crap a moly. Yeah, I'm just not. Pump out. I'll get rid of that one. Eventually, the show is going to start. It's just not today, apparently. It's like, okay. Hi, Budge. Very good. Trying to remember if did I forget anything. Let's just do it.
In the interview room here, we are just so always excited to see you running our chat and keeping it clean. Members, we love you guys. With your friends. That's it.
Dude, I have McFluff going on big time in this one.
And then in the hospital that I was admitted into, and tonight I'm feeling fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, I think I'm an actual better version of myself than I was 2 weeks ago. So I just want to thank everybody out there. I read your comments, felt your prayers, and our family was blessed as a result of that. And I want to give a shout out tonight to the medical staff, the incredible nurses and doctors who took care of me. And I want to start with Michael, Melinda, Paige, Nadia, Marissa, Caroline, Aubrey, Diane, and Betty, Dr. Meehan, Dr. Greenberg, and of course, Dr. T. The year
you probably wrote all of
one will show up in a little bit. If so,
well, this is like how long ago? I don't remember how long ago this was. What is it? A couple years? A year ago? I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, he was in the hospital before this interview.
Bring her on here. Now, while I was in the hospital, the interesting thing is, I got to catch up on my YouTube. And I was watching a couple of interviews out there. And I have to give a shout out to Justin in ICU over there at Justice for All with
little known fact, Justin's actually been streaming continuously since this happened up until currently.
Had an opportunity to sit down with Jose.
Christy, I don't think you're going to like it here very much. You can go over to McDonough's channel and watch the interview by yourself with a cup of tea, pot of coffee, or whatever it is. I don't know. What is it that you like? What is it? What's your drink of choice? Because I don't think that this is going to be the place for you. I can already tell. Will you just please play I don't really do requests like that too much. I manage my own show. Let me see. What else? What else should I say to you? I hope that you guys had a wonderful Father's Day. But yeah, I don't think I want you watching here, at least. This is so stupid. Serious, so rude, man. It really is. Like, I got no time for people like that. I don't want to deal with you,
Ramon, and talk.
Because I'm going to do this the entire night
to him at length, and it was Great job. If
Ah,
you haven't seen it, get
oh,
over there and take a
ah,
look at that.
oh,
And,
oh,
and of
whoa.
course, my buddy, uh, Mr. Josh, I've asked him to come on tonight with me. He is, in my opinion, a really good friend and a voice of reason.
That's true.
He is that guy that he's able to pick up almost immediately in the event of any type of Wi-Fi glitch
Yep.
on the internet or the
You hear that, Christy?
atmosphere as a whole. I'm sure Elon Musk is looking for him as we speak.
Look at me. Look at me. Just in the dark from the ashes.
Bring him up, my buddy and the leader of the lab rats
That's a fact.
over at the lab, Mr. Josh Diaz. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you for having me, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Shout out to all the
so
lab
much.
rats that are out there. Appreciate you guys showing up to support me, and thank you for having me, Chris. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, buddy. You're a true professional and
Did you hear that, Christy?
another
Oh,
voice of reason
ah,
and
oh,
idea.
oh,
So what do
oh,
you think tonight?
oh.
We've got
We're definitely going 6 hours tonight. Oh, oh,
we've got Jose has reached out and we're going to bring him up here in a couple of minutes. What are you thinking?
yeah, like you said earlier, Justin on Justice for All did a fantastic job, introducing us to Jose, and I watched the interviews with him, and any kind of perspective that we can get from anybody close to the situation is always a good thing. And who better than somebody who lived inside the house? And obviously there are other things that seemingly need to be addressed, and he wants to address, and we'll do all that tonight. But I very much look forward to speaking with him. I have never spoken with him before in any capacity whatsoever. So I was very happy that we did actually after this talk another time or two. You asked me, that was it, to come on. And once again, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well,
sorry, Christy. I'll keep it moving.
We
just play the damn interview.
So without further ado, so let me just
it's Father's Day. I don't get a lot of days, all right?
Kind of set.
I don't like my birthday. I don't really care about it. The 4th of July is cool. I'm not a big fireworks guy, but Father's Day, I earned that day. And it's not over for me yet. What time do we have here? I got an hour to go. Okay.
The playing field here tonight. In full transparency, Jose and I have been speaking for the last at least 2 or 3 days now, if not longer. I've done some vetting. I'm here to tell you that I have found no evidence of RSO or anything to that effect.
All right, Christy, I'm going to explain why that was important, because apparently people were saying that that's what he was, and then he wanted to clear himself and so on. And to see if I didn't stop it right, I don't know if we talk about it or not. We could double back. I'm not sure.
I've reached out to a lot of people, and through our sources here at the Cold Case Foundation as well. We checked a lot of different data banks, a lot of different places. And it seems like initially there was, another individual with a similar name, but different middle name. Whoops. I just lost him. He just stepped off for a second.
Thank you, Dr.
That it appeared that there was lots and lots of information floating around this other guy. But that
Right.
said, what are your thoughts, Josh? I know
Well,
you did
that's
some
just
digging too.
another thing about YouTube and public. Once things catch, people catch wind of something, whether it's true or not, it just everything gets really going in the wrong direction sometimes, and unfortunate things happen. So, like you said, I did the same thing, the vetting, and came across the wrong middle name guy, and we're here to clear some of that up as well. No, I don't.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I know for a fact that he's dead.
So, without further ado, we'll bring Jose up. Jose, ¿qué pasó, amigo?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Chris is fluent in like 3 different languages. I think he speaks like Japanese. I think he speaks Spanish, and he also speaks a little bit of English.
How about you?
I'm hanging in there. Very stressed out.
Okay, so
Going.
are you in a are you going to be in a place, and I know you're going to maybe come in and out here, so what we want to do is kind of mitigate that as much as possible so that we can have a pretty
Yeah, I believe that it was yeah. I don't know if I want to if I should disclose. I mean, I don't know.
straight up conversation here about summer, about some of the information that's floating out there. And one of the things that we kind of want to just kind of do a baseline here, right? Just who's Jose, and from there we kind of want to dovetail it into what you remember, and so I just kind of want to start at the end of when you left 110 Ben Hill Road, and then we're going to reverse it for a second, and we're gonna go back to the beginning. Okay, but give me an idea to the best of your recollection. And you know me, you and I have been going back and forth a couple of times, and am I a straight shooter with you so far?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I've held you accountable on some things, haven't I?
Correct.
Okay. So that said, we are all here tonight for one purpose, and that purpose is the truth. And so, kind of sugarcoating things, or if you don't remember, just say, I don't remember. Okay.
I don't remember.
But at the same time, if you do remember and
He
you
overdosed.
don't share it, okay, that's not real good either, right? Because ultimately what we're trying to do here is narrow down a scope of time, and then in relationship to that scope of time, some of the behavioral analysis aspect of summer. And I don't want to go into heavy duty, big time, essay stuff. We all know that exists. Am I right or wrong? With
Correct.
with Don.
No, he's not presumed missing. He's dead.
Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, I'm still figuring that out now. Like with everything coming out, it's more of a shocker to me right now. I mean, it's not a shocker, it's, because
That's great. That's
I
great.
didn't realize it was to that extent. I knew he was a bad guy. I just didn't know it was this horrible the way it was coming out and everything. That's when I knew like it's bad, like real bad. Like this guy's been doing this for years. It's not a couple of years. He's been basically doing it all his life. So
Okay. So also one other thing. if you want to,
because all right. If you don't want to believe me that Jose's dead, I'm not going to try and convince you of it. But he is dead. It's been verified. The morgue where he was being kept, the information was given to us by his children. They shipped his body back so he could be cremated.
just
He's dead. All right. He's dead.
talk, let's see if that saves some bandwidth on your phone.
Yeah, I just wanted
We end up changing to the phone.
wanted everyone to see that it's really me, not someone faking my voice or something. I just wanted them to actually that it is me.
Let's fast forward where the shot. So if you want to just hit the stop cam button and just go audio only, that might help.
Let's see if
Just like this. Is it just like this, or just shut the camera off completely?
Actually, it's working fine now. So don't try not to move the camera if possible, because I think that's what's causing the audio screw up. There he goes.
He hit the leave button. There he goes. There you go. Damn it, Jose.
Are you here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe
Yeah, it just jumps in and out a little bit. It's just the connection here is bad. So, just trying to do my best with what I have. So,
If Chris, if need be, we can run it through a phone. If that helps any at all. I know that we wanted him on camera, but
can he call you? Can he call you?
Yes, put it in the one of the crazy things is I remember that night there was probably, I think it was close to like 10,000 people watching that night. It was quite intense. Private chat.
Okay, I'm gonna put his number.
Yeah, put his number in the private chat.
Yeah, hang on, folks, if you could. Jose, I'm gonna have Josh call you and then pipe you in through the his system here.
okay, so do I exit this?
Drop off, Jose.
In the chat real fast. We really appreciate your patience on that. So let's go back. What I want to do is kind of stay focused in relationship to some of the things that you remember. So when did you leave 110 Ben Hill Road? What date was that, or what month?
It was October. From the receipt that I had checked, it said October 15th.
Okay, and what year?
2020, I believe.
What year?
2020.
Okay, so that's like 2 years ago, almost.
Yes.
Okay, are you sure about that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. I will have to look at my bank statement again, because I had pulled it up when Justin had asked for it and I had sent it to him.
And I think, Chris, that report from that altercation was 2020, the end of 2020.
Yeah, it was October in that ballpark.
Correct.
Okay, so from there, you left, and we'll get into that in a little bit. I know you got a ride to South Carolina. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And that was with Grandma Summer's grandmother to Rock Hill, South Carolina, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So just In that truck ride, this is where I want to ask you, and this is why I want to start here. In that truck ride, tell me about Grandma.
Oh, it's a good question.
No, pretty much we're just talking normal things and just discussing on what happened with Don and, you know, her concerns about him coming back home.
And break that
And I
down.
was, so she's always had problems with him, always. They always were bumping heads, you know. She said he's a control freak. He manipulates her. He's always angry. You know, every time they want certain foods or whatever to make in the house, he won't. He'd just rather spend dollar things and just drink all the time.
That
And
sounds about right.
when I was looking at her, you know, I had asked her, I was like, has he always been like this? And she said, yeah, he's never changed it. He said he's going to change, and he would change for like maybe a good week or two, but then automatically he's right back in it again. And I was like, wow. And I just most of the time I was just begging her to try her best for him not to go back in that house, you know, to make sure that the order protection goes through and just keep him away, you know, as best as she can. And she was like, I will, I swear, I promise you, I will do my best. That was her exact words to me.
How long did it take to get from Tennessee to Rock Hill, do you think, if you remember?
Almost 4 hours. I drove it.
About
I'm
4
the one
hours?
who drove there. Yeah, I'm the one who drove her truck there, and she drove it back home.
Okay.
And is that because they wanted you to leave?
No, that was my complete decision. It was enough because my concern was if he entered back the home and I was there, one of us was not going to come out walking.
Damn.
Okay, and we can get into that later if necessary. So one of the in that 4 hours though, what was Grandma's state of mind?
Nervous,
And what was yours?
anger,
Okay.
frustration, depression, anxiety. I just had a whole bunch of emotions going through.
At that time, you had a plate full of emotional dynamics. Would that be an accurate assessment, or you tell me?
Yeah. Yeah, I was suicidal, full blown alcoholic. Yeah, I had it real bad.
Okay, and a lot of
was
that
my
came.
reason.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was my reason for leaving New York when I did. It was just too much. And the doctors that I had spoken to, it was a panel of them.
I think, I don't know if he goes into it here, but I remember him saying something about when he went to jail he went to jail at like 18 in Rikers, which if you know anything about Rikers, not that any jail or prison is good. They're all bad. They all suck. They're all, you know, terrible. However, he was abused in Rikers Island.
They all agreed.
He was a very young 18-year-old.
And they were like, you need to leave. This place is a trigger. It, you know, it triggers you. And as long as you stay, you're not going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So I took their advice and I did it.
Mm-hmm. And at that point in your life, you really weren't an altar boy, were you?
No, absolutely not.
Tell me a little bit about that history.
Well, growing up, I had it bad. I'm a SA survivor. When I was
Mm-hmm.
And that went over a course of 2 years. And, after that, I was wondering, who I could tell of my family and things, but I felt scared and ashamed of it. So I really kept it to myself. And then hitting middle school and stuff, I started to lash out, started running away, hanging out with the wrong people. And I wound up starting to sell drugs. And I wound up dropping out of high school on my senior year. At that time, I started to sniff coke and I was smoking weed and drinking.
Hit that like button if you're just joining
And
us. I
then
really
I
appreciate
was
it.
also selling at the same time. And then I wound up getting arrested. And I wound up getting charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent of sale. And I wound up getting 3 separate charges for that. And they gave me 3 years running consecutively. And I wound up being sentenced to C-76 in Rikers Island.
That's kind of a
And while I
that's
was,
kind of a gladiator school, isn't it?
It was an
Rikers.
overdose.
yeah, yes,
That's
it is.
it's a rough place. Go ahead.
While I was there, I got sexually assaulted there by 6 men.
Mhm.
I was still not even an adult. I was like 18, 19, somewhere around there. And I was assaulted there. And then when I got released, I met my ex-wife. And things seemed to be a little better with her. I wound up marrying her. We had 3 children. Once my children were born, I just completely stopped because I was just afraid that if I kept doing what I was doing, somebody else was going to raise them. And somebody else was going to be called dad instead of me. So it kind of like straightened me out and kept me walking that real fine line. And, with everything that happened with me in the past, it was more of, I don't want to return back to prison,
Right.
So I just try to keep a straight line as best as I could.
When you were when you got out, how long did you stay clean?
So I've been clean since I came out.
Okay, so you were 18. Is that
Mhm.
right? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Uh, no, I was, when I got released, I was almost 20
Okay,
when I had
so
gotten released.
what did you do? 3 years out of what was
Yes,
your sentence? What was your sentence? Can I ask?
it was 3 years, but it was 1 year charge. And the judge basically wasn't hearing anything. And he was like, you're going to do them consecutive. I'm not going to run them at the same time.
Okay.
I forgot that happened.
And so it was basically you do 1 year, it's like they release you, but they don't. Then they send you back, you do your other year, then they release you, but they don't, and then you do your final year. And that's how it was.
Yeah, that's the time they were stacking sentences is what that's called. And
Happy
so
Father's
that's
Day to Jose.
a pre- you're going to do a little more time. So when you get out, obviously, there came a point. Josh, you have any thoughts on what I've asked so far?
No, Chris, I'm good.
No, not so much. I just can you clarify one thing? I guess is that when you said how long did you stay clean, and you said you'd been clean.
Mhm.
When you came out, you've been
Since I've
clean.
been out of prison. Yeah, since I've been out of prison, I've been clean since then.
So
Never
no
once.
no drinking,
never
no
been-
alcohol.
No, I literally just stopped all of that. All I did was really smoke cigarettes.
Okay, but then later on in life, you had
I
a
drank.
you had a struggle again. Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that. But no,
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, so at some point you come across, let's jump forward here for a minute. Now you're married, you got kids, all the other stuff. Your life is, somewhat it'd be a roller coaster. Would that be a pretty good description of what's going on in your surroundings, your environment, and your life as a whole?
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, and by the way, I want to give, we got to make sure that our members in our chat and our subs, from both channels, we just want to give you a trigger warning. If any of this, in any way, shape, or form is causing you anxiety or, any type of problem, just maybe this is a time for you to step back. We'll come back to it at a later point, but we just want to be sensitive and considerate to you as well. Because at some point, it would be an accurate assessment, right, Jose, that you get to a point where you have multiple relapses, and then somehow you end up a friend of the H's dad up in New York, right? You had moved out of the city into the suburbs, pretty much, hadn't you?
Yeah. And that was
Okay,
my mother's
and
decision when my mother was alive. He was like,
okay,
you had it rough, everything that happened, I don't want my grandbabies to be affected. And pretty much me and my ex-wife agreed. We went up there to go visit. We liked it, and we decided to just move out there.
okay. So break that down for us. Who did you end up meeting up there, and how did that all kind of unpack?
The, I met Andrew probably about maybe 4 or 5 years after I had moved up there. I had met Andrew, and he seemed a pretty okay guy, you know? He didn't seem like out of the ordinary at the time. I didn't see him using drugs. He did.
All right. So for people that are just joining, Jose is a person that came from New York with a certain group of, I mean, I guess you'd call them vagabonds. I don't know what else a proper term for them would be. He lived with Candace. I think Dawn was there too some of the time for I think close to 6 months, and he was there with the children, and he's kind of giving his account of what was going on while he was there.
Drink once in a while when he goes camping or barbecues and things like that, but never to the extreme. And
Like,
he
what
seemed
do you
like a
mean?
pretty good
Everything?
guy. So, well, because, the way he looks now, it looks like he's on something now or constantly drinking, you know? He looks like he's under a lot of problems and depression right now.
Okay, so
Especially with his son.
yeah, I really don't want to go there with him. What I want to do is kind of figure out, how did you end up, kind of you guys mixing together, and somehow you ended up down at 110 Ben Hill um, Ben Hill Road. You ended up in Tennessee. Tell me about those
Mhm.
dynamics. And let's get, a little nitty gritty there in terms of, what was going on.
Let's talk
Why all
turkey.
of a sudden there's this, you know, move to go down to Tennessee with how many people, by the way?
Okay, so it was Andrew, his wife, I believe, his two children. Then it was Jeff and his woman, and I believe her 3 children. And it
I
was
don't think
me as
I
well.
haven't. He hasn't in
And
some
then
time.
2 other people came. Those were Jeff's friends that he worked with the husband, and the wife, he wound up befriending the wife as well.
No.
And they were the ones who actually rented the van and the truck. to go down to Tennessee.
Okay, and what's the goal?
That's how that was. They said they had a place down there. I was already going through problems, and
Right.
I just had begged Jeff basically, like, Jeff, please, if you're going down there, just take me with you. I'm waiting for my contract to go back to work because I was, working out of state at the time, and it was only seasonal. So,
And what were you doing?
I was a seafood processor on a fishing boat in Alaska,
Okay.
and
ahead.
I just had to wait for my paperwork to come back for to go back to work. And during the time it's COVID, so you also needed a special letter from them, stating that I was deemed an essential employee for me to be able to move freely and to travel to go back and forth to work. So, and plus my new contract, because the contracts were based on 4 to 5 months, out of the year. It depends on what season you chose to pick. So that's all I was really waiting for. But because I was there, I was just so depressing, and I'm drinking and just crying. Yeah, and all I was thinking about was just offing myself, as you can say, just calling it quit.
So Jose, when you were leaving there, you were the one that asked to go along. When they were leaving
Correct.
for Tennessee, what was in
Yeah.
their plan? You said they had a house down there.
Yeah, that they already had a house waiting for them. Jack already had his transfer came in from the Walmart in Gloversville. They had his transfer completed to go to Kingsport to work down there. So he already had a job established there, So that's when it kicked in my gear. Well, if he's going to be working down there, I could find a little part-time job too until I leave, just to have a little extra money in my pocket. So I never think anything that something was going to go bad. I actually thought everything was already planned out and it was fine until we got down there. And all of a sudden, just everything started to fall apart.
And you were going through a divorce at the time. Is that why you
Yes.
wanted to leave?
Yes, absolutely. I had just been released from basically the mental health ward in Albany Medical in Albany, New York. And I was there for almost 16, 17 days. They had me there. And that Hannah was the one that suggested that you need to go and don't look back. You have to go because this place is a trigger. And that's all they kept saying, that it's a trigger for me.
And did they
But I
actually
didn't,
have a house set up?
as far as I knew, yes. I just didn't know where it was. I just
So
basically went along for the ride. That's what I did. I literally sat in the back of that U-Haul truck. I don't know if it was a U-Haul or Penske, well, one of those trucks. But I was sitting in a couch, locked in the back for almost the majority of the ride.
So at some point you make the destination, and where did you guys
Mhm.
pull into when you first got to Tennessee? Do you remember?
Yeah, we stopped at the storage where Jeff wanted to put some of the things in storage because they really did have a lot of stuff. So I didn't take it that the house was like real big, but he just wanted to sort some things out. So he was like, I'm just going to get the storage. We put everything here into the storage because the people who had rented the truck and the van, they had to return that back that day. And we knew it was a long ride for them to go back. So when we got there, we parked in front of the storage. We probably waited about an hour for it to open. Once it opened, he went in, got the storage. He drove the truck in, and we just unloaded it into a unit. and then they were supposed to leave. And within the time we're unloading, you know, Jeff and Andrew are on their phones, and I guess that's when they found out that the house didn't come through and all this other stuff. They were upset. And then Jeff and Andrew were talking, well, let's find a hotel at least, you know, so we could figure out what we're going to do, because Jeff already had his transfer in and he didn't want to lose it. So me and Andrew, we walked a lot in that beaming sun. I don't know if my shoulders were burned because I had a tank top on. I
So-
never will forget that.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, then the house falls through, or at least it sounds like it's falling through. How
Mhm.
does the Wells family come into this? At what point?
So Andrew had called them like after we unloaded the truck that we started looking for the hotel room. It must have been our second or third hotel we went to check.
Mhm.
And he says, I'm gonna call my son's mother. Maybe she might know a hotel, a cheap enough hotel for all of us to get, you know, at least 2, 3 rooms for us.
Okay.
And he wound up calling her, and then she was like, "You're here?" And he's like, "Yes, we're here." And then he gave her the directions. Maybe a half hour later, we met her in front of like a Dollar General or something like that. And it was like right down the block, the storage. And that's when I first seen them. I didn't actually meet them until we were loading the truck for them to leave. And I said, I'm not going back. And I was like, please talk to your son's mother to see if she can help me find a place out here. You know, I could get a job, I'll pay rent, whatever like that. And that's when she had spoken to Candace.
Okay,
And
so
Candace
this
said,
is
yeah.
when you say seen them, who's them? This is Allie,
Candace,
and who's
Candace, her mother, Allie, um, Allie's youngest daughter, and Hunter and Summer.
so everybody meets you guys at this Dollar General store. Is that what you're saying?
Mm, yeah.
Okay, and then what happened?
And Andrew and them were speaking. I was just by the truck, just sitting down, resting. And we must have been there about a good 2 hours, 3 hours. And I'm just sitting there wondering, what are they going to do? You know, because I just came along for the ride. So I didn't put no insight in it. I just zipped up and I just sat there and waited. And that's when Jeff came back and he was like, we're going back. And I
Here's why I think that Jose is this is why I think Jose is honest. I mean, he does not paint a picture of himself as being some overly astute citizen or stand-up citizen throughout his life. He admits to being in a mental ward at one point because of terrible thoughts, drugs, alcohol, all the things that, I mean, he's very honest, it seems, about himself, and knowing that he's going to get judged, which kind of comes along with stepping out into the public's eye. However, I don't necessarily, I don't, and I'm not really sure of but I think I'm sure that I don't know how honest, and this is just me thinking out loud, but I don't know how honest he was about the actual, like what the trip was about. I believe that the house fell through. I don't think that it was like he was the mastermind, whatever that trip was. But um yeah, I just don't know if the story of why is real.
I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, we just gonna go back. And I'm like, but you gave your keys to your apartment and all of this. Like, where y'all gonna go? And they're like, oh, will have somewhere to go when we get back. And I was like, well, I don't. Like, I literally left everything over there. I don't want to go back at all. And they were like, don't worry, we could try to figure something out for you. So while we were loading the truck, like halfway through it, just my mind was running and running, and I just started to tear up because my depression, anxiety started to kick in real bad, and I was just tearing up, and I began to shake a little, and that's when I said, Andrew, I'm not going back. And they were shocked, all of them, like, what? I said, I'm not going back. I said, please call your baby mother, ask her, just ask her, see what happens. And he wound up calling her, and Candace said yes. And then they wound up turning right back around to come pick me up to go with them.
Back to New York.
Candace and her mother and Allie came to pick me up to go to the Wells house. And Andrew and his family and Jeff and his family, they all returned back to New York. We parted ways right from the storage area. From after they loaded up the truck that I finished helping them, we just split ways. I went with Allie, Candace, and her mother, and everybody else went back to New York.
So I have a question. That corridor right there is, a pretty notorious corridor for mule and dope. Is this a dope run from New York to Tennessee?
No.
Could it be?
No, not that I know of. They knew better than to bring that around me. They knew better. Because I told them, I'm not going to jail for nobody. So I don't want, because a few of them smoked marijuana, in New York, that's illegal. It's not like, in other states where it's legal. But you're like, well, we're going to take something to smoke. And even I was like, nah, you're not going to bring that. No.
Yeah, right.
We got the kids, everything, they could push you for trafficking. And I was like on them with that. And they were like, you know what, Jose, you're right. And they decided not to bring nothing. We just brought cigarettes, basically. And, snacks and waters for the kids. But no, there wasn't no drug run or nothing. That was really out there.
Okay, hang on for a minute. You made an interesting comment just a second ago. You said, I'm not going to jail for nobody. Okay, then you told them that. Okay, so that means at some point you must have observed something that did not fit.
Yeah, I was telling you, marijuana. The marijuana, because they wanted to bring, marijuana with them. And that's what it was. And I was like, no, like, no. We're about to cross multiple states. It's already, it's supposed to have it here, and now y'all want to go and drive all the way down there with your little bit of weed, a bowl pack or two or whatever the hell you're smoking, or a blunt or whatever, and I'm like, I don't want to be part of that because of my record from the past. They'll throw me up and they'll lock me up, throw away the key. I was like, no, I'm not going to jail for anybody. Please think about this. And that's when they all decided, and they were like, you know what, Jose, you're right.
So it sounds like it was going to be a drug run, though.
No, it wasn't not to.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing here, Sixth Sense. I mean, we asked him really tough questions, and he they were, I think they were, at least, and he was very, I'm not saying that he's exempt from being put under a microscope, but he's gone. He was interviewed by law enforcement. He wasn't around when Summer went missing. So, but I get what you're saying. And Little Bit, thank you so much. That's very kind. Gifting 5 lab memberships. Thank you.
Bring drugs down there. It was for them to smoke on the way down.
Got you.
You know, it
Got it.
wasn't no like massive.
Jose passed away over a year ago. Yeah, he's not here anymore.
Like delivery thing. No, it was their personal thing for them to smoke for themselves. You know, whenever we had a pit stop or something like that, I guess. And I was like, no, just don't bring it. You know, we don't know what's gonna happen. And that was my main concern.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's go then to what date was that approximately, if you remember? And I know it's been a while.
So yeah, that I do not know. I don't remember the exact date. And that's what I've been telling everyone. I really don't remember the exact date. I didn't even remember the exact date I left until I went into my bank statement, you know, and I'm
Okay,
like,
that's cool.
you just go in there and I'm like, whoa, oh, okay, this is the day I left. So even it was a surprise to me even.
Okay. Well, we can pin that down later on here. Let's keep moving though for the show. You're there, they show up and you see Summer. Is that the first time you see Summer?
Yes, absolutely. She actually walked up to me and shook my hand and introduced herself.
That's cute.
Oh, really? And
That is first time. And you know, and I remember that because Candace had told Summer.
You know, I hear this a lot, and sometimes I think about that. It says, several people have passed away, kind of strange. And then, so the conspiracy theorist in me goes, yeah, that's true. But then the person that tries to be reasonable goes, that's kind of the thing about life and time. People die. It's been known to happen on occasion. So I don't know.
You just walk up to a stranger and say hi, and Summer's like, he looks nice. That's exactly what she said. And they just all started laughing.
So at that point, when you first meet her, Candace's response is you just walk up, say hi. So, right, like any other 4-year-old or 5-year-old at that point, right? Is
No, at that time, I think she was like 3.
well,
I think she
that
was
can't be
around
true.
3 years,
That can't be
3 or
accurate.
4, I believe. 3 or 4 years old, I believe, somewhere around there. Because this
Okay.
February, she should have been 6. She should be
Okay.
6 because her birthday just passed. So last year she would have been
It'd be
5,
about
and the
4.
year I was, about 4. Yes.
So
But
you're at
birthday
the house.
just
Well,
passed February 4th.
yeah, I don't want this to get confusing real fast. So I want to stay
Oh yeah,
focused here.
absolutely.
Okay. I want to stay focused. So she's about 4. Okay.
hmm
And that's your first impression of her in relationship to her, being outgoing. She just walks right up to you, introduces herself for something to that effect.
hmm
Is that accurate? Is what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. From that point, what happened? Go ahead.
Hello. Can you repeat that again? You cut off.
The question was, from that point on. So what happened after that? After she introduced herself to you?
Not much really. I got to introduce me
Chris is frozen. I remember this.
to Candace, to the grandmother, and to Allie. I wound up meeting Hunter for the first time there as well, and Allie's youngest.
Welcome to the interview room. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. And there I was, shining, flying without wings.
Daughter I met there, and we introduced ourselves, and Andrew was explaining to them, what I was going through with my divorce, and and he's really having it rough. He needs help. He doesn't want to go back. And Candace was like, he could stay in my place. I got an extra room. And she even offered for all of them to stay, but they all said no. They wanted to go back. And I was like, I'm just going to stay. I'm just going to rug it up, wait for my contract, and go. That's it. So we wound up getting into the truck, and we were just there. They drove. I'm just looking at the scenery and stuff. And Hunter was next to me, and Summer was leaning up on Hunter, and he was on his phone. And then Allie's youngest daughter was in the back seat as well, and I was pinched up to the door. And then the three, Candace, her mother, and Allie, were in the front of the truck, and that's where they sat. And they was just asking me, what kind of work I did and things like that. Just, I guess, getting to know me.
You there, Chris? You might be having some technical problems.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or see me. I think
We got you now.
froze.
I think he's working through some. So, what was your initial impression of them? And
Hey, John. Yeah, it was nice
Did
talking to
you-
you yesterday as well. I really enjoyed it.
had you seen the house prior to them inviting you?
No, I didn't see the house prior. No. And my first impression was they were nice. That was my first impression.
And
And Andrew kept telling them, he's really going through a lot, try to be easy with him, and he was explaining to them about, me trying to commit suicide and all of that. So they knew already, before I entered the home, my personal problem already.
I'm back.
And Andrew was like, he just doesn't want to go back because he doesn't want to feel like that anymore. And they were like, it's understandable. And, Allie that's why I left Gloversville. It was too depressing over there. So I moved down here, and that's what she wound up doing. And I was like, oh, okay.
And Chris, just to catch up to speed, if you didn't hear, I asked him his initial impression of all of them, and if he had seen the house before he was invited to stay there, and he said no, he has. And for the people just joining us, Jose Roman is with us here on the interview room.
See, this is why Josh is here. Boom, right there, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The last question I asked was in relationship to out front meeting everybody, and did we get that cleared up as to who was there? And that was going to be my next question. How did we end up at 110 Ben Hill Road? So did you guys already cover that?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so what was your impression overall of the first meet and greet?
They were nice.
And what was their
They
impression
really
of you?
were. They felt sad for me because of what I was going through.
Okay.
And they were telling me that, I had my 3 children. I shouldn't be thinking like that, because eventually my children might need me, when they're older. That's the way they were talking to me on the ride home. Because I was just sitting in the back and I just began to
That's kind of ironic.
cry, because
A little too ironic. Yeah, I really do think it's like rain.
I'm in the truck and I don't know none of them. It's the first time I ever met them, so it kind of felt uncomfortable a little bit.
On your wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
But I started crying, and
whose
Hunter
truck?
had said something in Candace's mother's truck,
Okay.
and Hunter had turned to
is
me
that
and
the
he was like,
Silverado?
"You okay?" Yes.
Yeah, this guy.
is
And Hunter has, yeah, he started the initial conversation. He's like, Jose, you all right? You know? And that's when, while Candace was driving, she had turned back real quick and looked at me. And she had told her mother and Aldi that I was crying in the back. And they're like, what's wrong? You know? And I was just talking, telling them what was going through my mind and stuff. You know?
Sam,
And they were,
and I appreciate you keeping it going, but I think it's a free ride when you've already paid. That would be ironic. Not a free ride when you're late. That would just be you're just late. But I love the energy.
but like, it's hard. We know it, you know, but you got to try to stay focused and things like that. So they seemed real nice.
and around what time in the evening was this?
I don't even remember.
Okay, that's cool.
I
That's cool.
honestly don't remember.
That's cool. So at some point, do you make it up to the house up there?
Yeah.
And what was your
And I
what was your
remember
Hmm?
my first was the driveway.
Yeah, that
That was
driveway is
my,
something, isn't it?
oh my Lord. So, and it was crazy because Candace tried to go up in the Silverado and the tail kept kicking sideways. And her mother yelled at her, didn't I tell you got to put it in 4-wheel drive? And hearing that, I'm like, what? You need 4-wheel drive to make it up this driveway? Because I expected a paved driveway. I wasn't expecting a driveway like that, you know?
Really?
So she wound up, you know, reversing the truck. She put it in 4-wheel and romped it right through, like just put pedal to the metal just to
Absolutely
get up to
did.
the hill. So as we're pulling up, I remember just seeing the grass
All right.
taller than summer. Like it was, and the lawnmower sitting there. And they were saying, yeah, Hunter is supposed to be doing that. And he's like, yeah, but that's a lot, you know? And he was right. It really was a lot. And he was like, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing nothing. So I could help if you want a little help. And he was like, yeah, that'll be great. I was like, yeah, why not? Because it'll keep my mind off of things. Just trying to keep my mind busy. So we wind up pulling up, and then I remember seeing Candace's mother's camper and the fridge. And then they had a couple of other things like tires and things like that, like in a little pit or something. And Candace was saying once in a while they'll light that up and burn trash there during the nighttime.
Wait
So
a minute.
nobody would tell, you know, with the black smoke and things like that.
Wait a minute.
And
What?
I didn't know what the thing. And Candace was like in the fridge. And then they had a couple of other things like tires and things like that, like in a little pit or something. And Candace was saying once in a while they'll light that up and burn trash there during the nighttime. So nobody would tell, you know, with the black smoke and things like that. And as we get to the house, all I can remember were these dogs just
Before we get to the dogs, how is it a free ride when they already paid? Well, that's the, like, you pay for a ride, but then it ends up being free. That's ironic. A fire pit. That's interesting. I don't know. No, I don't know. It's the good advice that you just didn't take, and who would have thought it figured? Mr. Play It Safe was afraid to fly. He packed his suitcase,
swarmed
kissed his kids goodbye.
the truck and they just barking. And I'm just looking at them like, oh, and you know, Hunter's laughing at me. He's like, oh, they're all punks, you know, but he didn't say it like that. He said a bad word, but he was like, they all bark and no bite. And then Candace was like, that's really because they know you. they don't know Jose, you know? And I was like, oh man, I might get bit by one of these dogs. And I wound up getting off of the truck. And when I got off, I had all four of them like in front of me, showing teeth, growling. And Candace and her
Yeah, and I think they had burn barrels too, right?
mother had to like yell at the dogs to leave me alone.
So you
Then
in
from
the
there,
Jose,
excuse
who's
me?
in the truck with you? And then yeah,
In the
who's
truck
in
with me, it was
This was the Airstream days.
okay. So in the front seat, it was Candace, her mother, and Allie. And then in the back seat, it was Summer, Hunter's sister, and me.
okay, where were the boys? If you knew
At home, matter of fact.
later on, if you found out later.
Yeah, they were at home.
Okay. So
That's where they
when you
were.
Alone.
when you pulled up, were the boys there?
Yes, they were in the house actually.
And okay, and where did you guys park?
She parked like right next to the house, but a little after the porch.
Okay. And when you got out, the dogs obviously did their thing.
hmm
What happened next?
We got out. Hunter took Summer out. They all got out and they all started walking in the house. They asked me if I needed any help with my luggage. I was like, no. I just picked it. I was able to carry it on my own. And I took it, and they was like, don't be afraid of the dogs, because that was my main fear, that they were going to bite me. And they just kept saying, don't worry about the dogs. And then as we go up to that front door, they had those center block things in that yellow, look like a scaffold type deal there for like, for you to hold with your hand. And I saw that and I was like, that's dangerous, especially with kids. And she's like, yeah, my husband is doing work around the house. We're going to fix this eventually. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I just climbing up the stairs, and I remember walking through that front room, and all you can see is just wreck everywhere, clothes all over the place, cups, empty water bottles, soda bottles, just on top of the tables, the TV stand, movies piled up. And then they had two queen size mattresses laid out on the floor, and those had the pillows and blankets, plus a couple of the kids' clothes was there. They had
In what
like
rooms?
a
In what
makeshift.
rooms were those in what rooms were those mattresses, Jose?
The first room when you enter.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
They
many
were there on the
mattresses?
floor.
And
It
how
was
many
two
mattresses?
It was two
Okay. Okay.
right
And
next to each other.
all right. Were there bunk beds there at that time?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Then what happened? This is the first
Then
time
they
you go
were
in,
calling me to,
right?
yes. Then they were telling me to come into the kitchen.
Who was
And
telling
then,
you?
Allie, Candace, and the grandmother, they were like, come into the kitchen, come sit down. We're not going to bite, like they were laughing, just cracking jokes and stuff.
And
Because
where
I
the
was already
kids?
depressed, so
Right.
running
remember.
around. Summer went straight to the swing, and the boys was outside with her, and they were there just playing.
Okay.
And
Was it daytime then?
yeah, it still was daytime.
Okay.
That I
And
do
so
remember.
okay. Then what happened?
Then I went into the kitchen with them. They cleared out the table a little bit, and I had sat down.
You're welcome,
I
Francis.
had asked for water. They had given me water. And then I was like, "Oh, could I use your bathroom?" And they was like, "Yeah." And then that's when Allie
This part's wild.
had told Hunter to show me where it was, to take me to the bathroom. So that's when I wound up getting up. You walk past that little bar thing that they have, and right there was these two big 6-straw dressers, one on top of the other with a sheet over it. And Hunter was like, "The bathroom's right here," and he just pointed. So I go, and when I look, it's just the toilet, the shower, and the sink. No walls, no doors at all. And I was like, whoa. And they were like, "Oh, don't worry, nobody's going to go back there, And I was like, okay. So I just wound up using the bathroom. And I'm just standing there like, where's the wall at?
That actually told me a little bit about Candace when, like, at first when I saw this interview, and you'd always hear about this Jose guy, and Chris asked about Jose, and she was like, pretended not to know his name, that he was just some Mexican guy or something.
There's no door, and then I noticed the water tank heater that they had up in the ceiling and the pipes coming from the ceiling and stuff, all using the bathroom. And and they were like, "Oh, don't worry, nobody's going to go back there, And Hunter was like, "The bathroom's right here," and he just pointed. So I go, and when I look, it's just the toilet, the shower, and the sink. No walls, no doors at all. And I was like, whoa. And they were like, "Oh, don't worry, nobody's going to go back there, And I was like, okay. So I just wound up using the bathroom. And I'm just standing there like, where's the wall at? There's no door, And then I noticed the water tank heater that they had up in the ceiling and the pipes coming from the ceiling and stuff. And I just started to observe, just to look around and stuff. And then I noticed their closet and all the clothes that was there. They had a BB rifle there laying up against the sink in the closet. I used the bathroom, turned right back around, and came right back to them. And I didn't even notice the stairs at this time yet, because I just walked right back. And then I was like, "Can I put my stuff away?" Because the kitchen was clustered already. And I had a pretty big suitcase with me. And that's when Candace was like, "Yeah, come with me." And I was like, okay. And then I seen her walk.
I forgot to say this, and I should have said it, and I'm sorry that I didn't. Gwen, our lovely moderator who has been battling breast cancer, she emailed me not yesterday, the day before, and she is officially cancer free. So I wanted to give you guys the update on that, and Gwen should be just fine.
To the bar, and I'm like,
so that's a beautiful thing.
There's stairs there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my husband's 6 foot. He fits down here." Same thing.
I love that lady.
Basically, what she told you. If he could fit down here, so can you. But I'm wide. I'm a hefty guy, and I'm like, oh my god. And then Hunter was like, "My mom fits through there, we all do." And I was like, okay. So that's when I had walked down there, down those steps. The jacket I had on, it had caught on one of the nails. It didn't rip it though, but it got caught on one of the nails. And I was like, that's dangerous. And I started to walk down the steps. Then I noticed the TV there. And I noticed a blue couch in front of the door, and then their mattress.
Oh, what? He noticed a what, Jose? What did you notice in front of that door? You notice what kind of color?
Was to the back of that room, and it was on top of center block, and it was
Who's
just a
their
cushion
who's
part.
their mattress? Who's their mattress?
Candace and her husband.
Okay, go ahead.
And then Candace was like, "This was where you could. This will be your room, Jose." And then when I looked over to the right, the bunk beds were there.
Okay.
And I just walked in there, and they had the bunk beds there, and they also had another little mattress there too. But it looked more like a toddler's mattress, you know. But it didn't look like anyone slept on it. I think it was just something for them to sit on when they were playing and stuff like that. So I just went. I put my luggage up against the wall, and then I just went right back upstairs.
Were there
To go
toys
and
down
talk
there
with them.
when you first got in?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Did
It
it,
was full of toys.
did it look
was.
like a
There was
toy
a lot
room?
of toys. Yeah, pretty much so. It looked like a typical kids' room, you know, like just a room for children.
I got to disagree with him on that, but fine.
Well, that room for me didn't look like a typical kids' room, but I mean,
But
kind of
you know,
qualify
with
that.
all the toys and with all the toys and stuff, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Okay. So you thought it was a playroom of some sort. When
Yeah.
did they describe anything about that room or the parents' room at that point? Is Candace down there with you, showing you around, basically giving you the tour?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
She is. She was telling me that bottom door never gets opened at all. The couch always stays there because it doesn't fully lock. You know, she had informed me of that. So the windows didn't have no tints in it
Wait a
at
minute.
all. She's telling me that
Point did Candace is Candace down there with you, showing you around, basically giving you the tour?
yes, yes,
Okay.
she is.
Okay.
She was telling me that bottom door never gets opened at all. The couch always stays there because it doesn't fully lock. You know, she had informed me of that. So the windows didn't have no tints in it at all.
I don't know why. I have no idea why Candace said that couch was thrown away years ago. She said like 2016. And then, the issues with Dawn, I don't know. I don't know, man. What's up with that couch?
Oh, you could see through.
Yes, we can. Sure.
Like you could look outside and they could look inside as well.
Yeah, there's
But I guess you could, yeah. I think because the grass was so tall, you couldn't notice it. But once you mowed that lawn, is pure sunlight used to come in through there.
right. So let's go back upstairs now. You're upstairs from the dungeon, is what I call it.
Okay.
And this is
Jose's like, okay. It's the dungeon. That's what I call it, Jose. You understand me? I call it the dungeon. I don't know what you call it, but I call it the dungeon. All right.
like the first night, or you're just kind of getting to know everybody. At what point is Allie staying there at this time, by the way? Okay.
Yes. She was actually staying with her kids for the weekend.
Oh, my love, my darling,
Okay.
my hunger.
And where are they sleeping? Do you know?
for
Where did they end
your
up sleeping?
touch.
Upstairs. Like they all bunched up upstairs.
Oh,
Okay.
Like a
And
big slumber party, you could say. Yeah, it was just a big slumber party.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. And
Just all of them bunched up there.
is Allie's mom there?
Yeah, but she slept in her camper.
Oh, I mean, that's
Once in a
Candace's
while,
mom. Is that Allie's mom or Candace's mom?
no, Candace's mom.
Okay. How about
She
Allie's mom?
slept in, she wasn't there.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't meet Allie's mother and grandmother and great grandmother until I was there for a little while, probably maybe like a week or two before I actually met them.
So they had been kicking it there before you even got there.
Yeah,
And
I
staying.
believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So did
'Cause
everybody kind of
they-
have a
yeah.
sleeping, quarters staked out?
Yeah.
Grandma.
Yeah, you might as well say yes.
Okay.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Is it?
Okay. And just like a big, crash house or other.
Excuse me?
Is this like a big crash house? Are there other people coming and going? I mean, not that first night,
No.
but the more you stayed there, were there
No.
other cars coming up there? Were there,
Oh, we'll get there.
other things going on?
I
No.
don't know if we'll get there
No.
tonight, but we'll get there.
Nope. Not at all.
Was
Not while I
Candace
was
getting
there.
hammered at night? Was Candace getting drunk at night?
Yeah. After 5 o'clock.
Every time.
So every night after 5, or just a few nights after 5? You tell me.
And probably like a few nights, but as her and Dawn started to get into the fights over the phone, it started to become every single night. When I
So was
got there,
Dawn
it
calling
wasn't
every
every
night?
single night.
Was Dawn calling every
Well,
night?
she would call. She was calling him, not the other way around. He didn't call. She called him.
That's nice.
Okay. Okay. And what was your impression of that? Why did she have to do that?
Yeah, most of the time that she called him was for money to buy food for the house. And then they'll wind up arguing because he's pushing for her to move up to Utah, and she'll drop the F bombs left and right, and no, I'm not going.
That doesn't sound like her.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Those are
he's
basically their fights there.
okay. And what about the kids during this time? Who's during all the flowing of the alcohol and I'm assuming there's got to be some dope involved in this too, right? Somewhere. I
No,
mean,
no,
is there any
no,
marijuana?
no,
And anybody smoking
nope,
marijuana up there?
nope.
Can you imagine? Like, you imagine Chris like question you, who's smoking marijuana, huh? You guys smoking the doobs, huh? What are you doing there, huh? What do you got there? What's in your pocket? Got yourself a little crack pipe, huh? Little crack pipe. Got a little what you got going on there, Holmes, huh? Home fries? What do you got? What you got over there? What you got? Huh? Talk to me. Smoking a little reefer? You smoking a little reefer? You smoking a little reefer?
No,
Okay.
just alcohol and cigarettes.
Okay. Alcohol and cigarettes.
Don't you dare lie to me, Holmes.
And
Yeah,
so go ahead.
You smoking that loud pack, that Puff the Magic Dragon by the sea? You a hippie, huh? You a hippie? Hair looks a little long around the ears.
that was all they were doing.
Okay, and you say they. Who's
But
they?
we will all be watching them. It wouldn't be like none of us are watching them. But
Feeling the state of my Hawaii with you, Hawaii. I need a summer breeze, some fresh airs to put my mind at ease. Don't know why.
but the kids had their own routines at the time. They watched their own shows. They will play on their phone on the video games, or they'll go outside and play. And when they were hungry, they would just come in, we're hungry. And then Candace would be like, well, grab a pizza and put it in there.
I gotta,
You
I gotta see that again.
they would do,
Go ahead.
no,
Anybody swear? All the
Look how serious. Look, I mean, he's like,
I'm assuming all the flowing of the alcohol and all the. I'm assuming there's got to be some dope involved in this too, right? Somewhere.
there's dope. Who's got it? Huh? Who's got the dope? Cop to it, right? He got the dope, huh? Jose, was the guy smoking that stuff around those kids, boy?
Where?
no,
I mean,
no,
is there any marijuana?
no.
And anybody smoking
Nope.
marijuana up there?
His eyes are like, just
Nope.
yeah. You hear no, sir, Mr. McDonough. All right, I got my eyes on you. I got one eye on you. You don't want when I got both eyes on you. That's when you need to be. But I got one eye on you, Holmes.
No,
Okay.
just alcohol and cigarettes.
Okay, alcohol and cigarettes, and
Yeah.
so. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jose, go ahead.
That was all they were doing.
Okay, and you say they. Who's
But
they?
we will all be watching them. It wouldn't be like none of us are watching them, but the kids had their own routines at the time. They watched their own shows. They will play on their phone on the video games.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, it's possible, sure. Pothead Holmes.
Or they'll go outside and play. And when they were hungry, they would just come in, we're hungry. And then Candace would be like, well, grab a pizza and put it in there. You know what to do. And they would just do it themselves.
Jose, was there any, so dope aside,
Today, Junior. Back to the dope. I'm following up. I felt Chris's passion. So we're back to the dope.
were there any opioids? I mean, were they
Don't lie to me either. Look at Chris. Chris is like, attaboy.
taking pills and drinking? I mean, I take your word for what you're saying, but I would find it hard to believe that they weren't doing anything other than just alcohol and cigarettes.
Oh, no. In front of me, that's all they was. I didn't see them taking no pills or anything.
Gotcha.
The only one who took pills was Candace's mother, but she had a lot of pills, like a whole bunch of different medications. So I'm thinking cholesterol, blood pressure, all these other, because I have family that take multiple pills. So he would come out with like a little bag, and it's a whole bunch of different pills.
I don't drink alcohol. It's been a really long time. I don't like alcohol. Doesn't taste good to me. That's it. It's not some moral thing. It tastes like ass.
Pills, and she would always say, I have to take this damn stuff every day, and I don't really like it. It makes me feel weird. And that was her main complaint. But she didn't drink. Candace's mother was the only one that did not drink. She would not drink at all. She would always fight if anyone drank.
And Chris, let me just ask you really fast too. Was your experience similar to Jose's when it came to the dogs when you first arrived on that property?
Yeah, they were everywhere. They came out of the woods.
Barking and somewhat aggressive?
They came right at the truck. They came right at me right when I got out, and that's why Karen stayed in the truck.
Right.
So
he hit that one on the head.
Yeah, that piece of the puzzle.
And it's an important piece. You can say whatever you want, but to lie about that means, I mean, why lie about that? Why? Because Candace never answered that question. It was always Dawn. Dawn came up with it. And he didn't even come up with anything good. He just said that sometimes they leave. together, all of them, every single one of them, that they weren't there. The dogs weren't there that day. Bull crap.
So that was a great question too, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You got more on that? Go ahead.
Sure.
Well, I just you know,
Whatever
we
you-
talk about how they say stranger abduction,
Mhm.
and it seems to me that if a stranger walked up on that hill, he would have been greeted the same way both of you were greeted.
Oh, absolutely. Believe that.
Ding, 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 ding. It's a hard, dude. I don't know.
That's 100% correct. They would have definitely went up to whoever it was. The only way they wouldn't come up to you like that is if they knew who you were.
Exactly.
And how long did it take the dogs to get used to you?
A few days,
Okay.
2-3 days.
Yeah. Strangers aren't walking
Yeah,
up on
I
that
even
hill.
made Yeah, I remember telling Candace you need a zoo license. I mean, there were cats, dogs, you know, they were everywhere. They were everywhere in there. Okay,
And
so
even if they
you
knew
make
you,
it
would
through.
they bark? Oh, sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead, say it again.
I was Jose. Even if they knew you and you came up, would they bark when like cars would come home and stuff?
No, if they knew who you were, they wouldn't bark, but they would approach the car.
Okay. Swing and a miss on that one.
Would approach you, but they wouldn't like growl or bark. No.
So
I tried to follow it up back to back. Jordan 96, 97, but I swung and missed on that. I didn't get the answer I wanted there.
So while you were there, Jose, just kind of shifting back here, the breakdown of where everybody's drinking. At what point would the tolerance level kick in and everybody pass out?
What time would you guys hit your limit, bud?
I will be the first one to pass out.
Oh yeah.
You-
Back to the reefers.
You were?
After that, yeah, I'll be the first one to knock out.
Nice.
I was, going through a lot.
Yeah.
So I just went downstairs and just slept. But it's like 8:30, 9 at night. I'm in bed already, ready to conk out. And they would still be up in the kitchen, laughing, playing music. Kids running around, having fun,
Where are the children?
My Harry Potter glasses.
Where are the children at this point? Just running
Upstairs
around?
in the front room playing, watching TV.
What kind of video games did they play?
One of them was like a racing game on the phone. Another one was a puzzle game or something like that. But I heard there was a couple of more, but I never really was into phone games or anything like that. So I really didn't pay it mind. But the boys mainly played their racing game on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, we did see that. Yeah. Hey. He found love in a hopeless place. What are you gonna do, right? Hold me tight, and time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. I'm in a singing mood tonight.
What kind of games did the kids play that you?
Excuse me? You asked what kind of games they played?
Yeah, meaning outside games, kids games.
Oh, hide and go seek. They played on the swing, tag. They played with their soccer ball. The boys would throw their footballs around sometimes, and they really wanted to ride their bikes. You know, that was when I knew they had dirt bikes, when I found that out. But Candace wouldn't let them drive it. She kept saying, you have to wait for your dad to come back.
How's it going?
And that was their main focus, was their bikes. But those were the games they played typically.
So they wanted to get on those dirt bikes.
Oh, big time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you saw them play hide and seek, what would they do? Where would they go?
In the house, outside, in Candace's mother camper, in the fridge. I remember the first time I saw someone in that fridge, it freaked me out.
Tell me about
Because,
that.
you know, I thought the fridge locked. Okay, so I was sitting outside towards Candace's mother camper. And there was like this little crate thing there, and I was just sitting there smoking a cigarette. And I remember the boys running outside, and they're like, Jose, did you see Summer? And I'm like, no. Why? Oh, we're playing hide and seek. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I didn't see her. Maybe she's in the house. And they're like, no, we checked in the house. So I got up and I said, so she's out here somewhere hiding? And they're like, yeah, we got to find her. And I was like, isn't it like dangerous? Like, would she leave real far?
It's dangerous.
Because this is the first time they're playing this, you know, and I'm finding out. And they're like, no, usually she's around here, hiding behind a tree or something. And I was like, oh, okay. So as the boys start walking to the shed to check over towards that way, all I did was turn my head and I could see Summer peeking out of the door of the fridge. And I was like, what is she doing? And I wind up walking over to it and she had closed it. And I was afraid that it
What
locked.
side? Left or right? What's Jose, what side? Left or
The
right?
fridge?
Yeah.
The fridge? It was,
Yes.
well, where I was sitting at, I'm facing the house. It would have been to my left.
Okay, but what side is she peeking out? When you say to your left, I need some
she's
reference.
Okay, she's peeking out of the door. She opened the door. She's peeking it because, you know, when you open the fridge door, it opens up through the bottom. So she just cracked it and stuck her head out and looked over.
Okay, do you remember if it was the left or the right door?
I don't remember which door it was.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Then what happened?
She wound up peeking out and I wound up walking over there. And I'm like, Summer? And the boys was like, oh, you found her. Oh, she's in there again? And that's what they said. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm looking at that and I was like, that doesn't lock. And they're like, no, it's broken. Like, we always use that. And I was like, oh, okay. So she wound up running out.
Is that the boy saying this?
All of them. Yeah, the boys too were saying that. So they used it too. Them boys used to fit in there. I don't know how they did it, but they fit in there.
Okay. And what about Candace? What is her reaction during all of this? Or where is she? What's going on?
Inside of the house, sitting on the kitchen table.
Okay, sitting at the kitchen table. And is she aware that that Summer's been hiding into that fridge before?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because she used to always tell them, go play hide and go seek, go outside, go play. You know?
Okay.
And she knew that she already had been in that fridge a few times.
Okay.
And she was like, I used to argue with her, but, you know, the fridge opens. Ain't nothing bad going to happen to her in there. So I just gave up arguing with her about it.
So you argued with her about her hiding in that fridge? Is that what you're saying?
No. That Candace said she gave up arguing with Summer about hiding in the fridge.
Oh, so the mom and daughter had a conversation in the past. Did you hear that? Have you ever heard that?
No.
Oh, did you believe it?
Conversation?
Yeah.
About
Summer having a conversation with Candace about hiding in the fridge?
Well, I did. The way she was saying it, I believe that she did talk to Summer about the fridge.
Okay.
But then
Okay.
Candace was like, she just gave up. And she was like, she's not going to get hurt in there. I already checked the fridge. Everything's fine. You know, it opens, closes. It doesn't lock. Okay. You know, I really didn't think nothing of it.
Okay.
When the kids were playing hide and go seek and things like that, just around the house, how rough were they with each other?
Not real rough, but just like normal kids. Accidents happen, you know, maybe one time Wyatt was running real quick and he was running around to hook around the corner of the house and he ran into Waylon. Waylon wound up falling and scraping his knee. That's like the worst I've seen.
So, okay, so they play outside. Where else did the children used to hide that you're aware of?
In Candace's mother camper in the bathroom.
Say it again.
In Candace's mother's camper inside of the bathroom.
Okay. Is that one of the cabinets?
Yeah. No, it's a bathroom.
Okay. She just hid it.
Yeah.
She hid in the bathroom.
Yeah, because that was Candace's mother's like storage. She didn't use the bathroom there. She used the bathroom in the house. So she converted her bathroom from the camper into like a storage unit. And she had a lot of stuff stored in there. And she used to argue with Summer about that because she was afraid that, you know, Summer knocked something down and, you know, it comes toppling on top of her.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like the kids, are just kids and they're out running around playing on the
Yeah.
property. Tell me about the swing. Is that her favorite place to go, or what's your opinion?
Oh, yeah. Summer, that's her go-to. She loved that swing a lot. Constantly on the swing. Always. Always. And then no shoes and no shirt. I could tell you that right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
No shoes and no shirt, sitting on that swing, just swinging away. And if she wanted to go higher, she would ask one of us to do it. And most of the time it was me doing it, just pushing her. And she would just laugh and thank you and, you know, go higher. And then she would ask me to twist her, you know, on that. And she's like, keep going, keep going. And then she would tell me, let go. And then, you know, it would swing around and spin. And she would be holding on, screaming, laughing. And then, you know, if I felt like she was going to fall, I would just go and grab her, like pick her up and then place her on the ground. And she's like, whoa, you know, and she's moving around. And she said, again, Jose, again. She was a bundle of joy.
What was Hunter's interaction with the children?
He was the same way with all of them. He played hide and go seek with them too. He played tag with them. He kicked the soccer ball with the boys. With Summer, it was the swing too with her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the reaction of H's mom to him doing that? Or was it, was it just a casual situation where kids are just playing, or what was your takeaway on that?
Yeah, that's what I take it as, a casual thing, just kids playing, just having fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No other way than that. Most of the time, that's all they were doing, was having fun. Always laughing and yelling, you know, loud kids. That's what they were.
Jose, did you find it odd that they offered you a place to stay, a strange man in a house full of kids?
See, sometimes, Sam, you just got to listen to the show.
when there was
I'm
to
just
stay a strange. Jose, did you find it odd that they offered you a place to stay a strange man in a house full of kids when there was when Dawn is in Utah? Did you find that odd at all?
A little bit, yeah, I did in a way. But when Andrew had spoke to them, I guess that's what alleviated their worries about me. Because
Yeah.
Andrew's the one who actually spoke to Allie for me before I actually spoke to them, and that's when Andrew had introduced me to each of them.
So it was Andrew that vouched
Yes.
for you, and
Yes.
and then when you initially got there, you see the state of the house. Was there anything in you telling you to get out of there?
Excuse me?
Was there anything inside you telling you to get out of there when you saw the condition of the house, or were you just desperate for a place to stay?
Oh no, when I seen the house, it was like I need to get out of here, but I didn't know where to go.
Right.
Yeah, I was stuck in the woods basically.
Sure.
I didn't know nothing. Not even my cell phone worked there at all. There was no signal. Candace was the only one who had a signal, and it was lucky if it was one bar.
What was the carrier?
I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I never even asked her that. I never thought of asking her what was
Hey,
the
Brittany,
carrier at all.
how are you?
Did
But
grandma
I
have
had
a phone? Did
No,
grandma?
she did not.
Huh? No,
No,
not at that time.
no,
Okay.
nope.
Did
Not at
anybody
that
else? Did
time.
Allie have a phone?
Yeah, Allie had a phone. Hunter had a phone.
Okay.
They both had phones, and their phones didn't work at all.
Did yours?
There was
Did you
no
have one?
signal. No. Yeah, I had my cell phone, and it was dead too to the world. There was like no connection. The only way we got connection was when we went into Kingsport. That was when our cell phone services kicked in, and it would go crazy because
And
they didn't go into Kingsport every single day.
sure.
It
And
was
who
like
was? Go ahead.
it was like every other day or maybe every 2 days. So when we would get to the spot where I guess it was by the church, right after you pass that church, all our cell all our cell phones are ding 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 ding, just going crazy. We're like, whoa, and
And
it's
who's your
messages,
carrier? Who was
videos.
your carrier back then?
Mine was Straight Talk through Walmart.
Oh, okay. So you kind of had by the minutes, kick it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I had the unlimited plan for every month, and it was on auto pay, so they took the money out
Roman.
automatically. I didn't have to keep going to buy a card and putting minutes. They just took it off my card to pay for it.
Okay.
Well, look, I found it extremely odd that he would be welcomed into a home like that, but uh, I mean, I wouldn't allow that to happen. But they live different.
Was there Wi-Fi? Was there internet in the house?
No, absolutely not. Not at that time that I was there.
Okay.
So at some point, are you during all of this time, and how long are you there at the house in terms of what you remember? What's your timeline?
I don't really know. Now that I'm thinking about it, felt a lot like I was there for months.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it felt like to me.
Well, you were there for months.
Okay.
Yeah,
Were you-
ballpark it. I mean, I heard you say near 6 months once.
And that's why I said it felt like months. No sense of time at all. It's country life. It truly is a country life over there. It's not a city life,
We want an answer.
Sure.
So it was all new to me. all of it. The area was new to me. The way, even people telling me good morning, I found weird. I'm from New York. Everybody's uptight and with an attitude. I come here to Tennessee, it's good morning and bless you and all these things. And I'm looking at them like they're weird.
Oh,
Well, that's the great folks of Tennessee. And this is why people love summer so much, right? They really do
Mhm.
care. They care about people and they care about children. And I know that, you got stuck in the middle of this thing based on, all the information that's available to everybody. And it's a culture shock to understand the people of the Southeast. I mean, they're really super great people. And then there are, other people that, we just they don't get the understanding that is necessary because they've not lived type of life that they live down there. Poor to act on all of those, which you have and you do, and I think that's great. And the fact that you've come forward now after all this time, what when was the first time you were interviewed by the FBI? You there?
Jose.
Did we lose him?
Well, it says he's still on the
Oh,
line. Oh,
I
there he is.
hear you now. Okay. Yeah, you were
Okay.
breaking up.
No
Like,
worries.
wait a minute. Why are they breaking up?
No worries, amigo. When was the first time you were interviewed by the FBI?
They, from what I remember, they said she had been missing about 7, 8 days, I believe, from what I can remember.
Okay,
And
and
they had
that's
went to my son's house looking for me.
So so
and
Summer's been missing 7 or 8 days. They come across the name Jose. The FBI is sent out to his son's house looking for him. I mean, that's very interesting.
eventually they found you and you had a conversation with them, correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay, and you told them everything that you recalled.
Yep.
Yep.
But it was, as I said, their main focus was on Dawn and Candace. That if I felt they would ever do any harm to Summer, that was the impression that I got from their questioning.
And what did you tell them?
I told them not Candace, and I don't think that Dawn, would have at that time, because even though me and him bumped heads and all that other stuff, but as far as to like physically abuse her, no. I told them no, I don't think anything like that, like kill her, like or hurt her in that way, no.
Well, when you first heard that she went missing, and how long after she went missing did you hear about it? Was it when TBI contacted you or the FBI?
Yeah, when the FBI contacted me was when I knew.
And that was
And the
that was 8
first,
days.
yeah, 7, 8 days, I believe she was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And
And what was your
I
reaction?
remember. Oh, first I'm gonna tell you. The first thing I told the FBI was, "Did she get out of the house again?" That was the first line that came out of my mouth. And they're like, "Excuse me?" And I said, "Did she get out of the house again?" And they're like, "Wait a minute. She used to get out the house?" I said, "Yeah, all the time." I said, "Why do you think the blue couch is in front of the door in the basement?" I told them that. And they're like, "A blue couch?" I say, "Yeah, in the basement. It would be in front of that door because there was no lock there. She could walk in and out." But she knew how to open the lock in the front door too, because there wasn't no deadbolt there. It was just the regular knob that you just turned the little switch.
So where's the blue couch? The FBI didn't see the blue couch there. It wasn't there that night. Went missing right before Summer's disappearance. That's what Dawn told me. I have it in writing.
And that was it. And she knew how to open that.
How did the deadbolt get on that door? Do you know?
I think they probably put it there. And that's way after I was gone. Because when I was there, that was not there. Just like the wall that they have that's covering that bathroom right now, that was not there when I was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those bunk beds in that front room, that was not there when I was there. Those bunk beds are virtually brand new.
Jose, if Summer did in fact tend to wander outside like you said that she did, what do you think? And I know this is speculation, but why would Dawn and Candace say that she never did that? Because they say that
they knew they would get in trouble. That's why.
Okay.
And they knew it's not just me who told them something. Allie said something. Even Candace's mother said something about her getting out of the house. We all told them. It wasn't just me. You know, it was a concern for all of us. You know, like, how the hell she's getting out of the house? Like, I thought you locked the door. Well, Summer knows how to unlock the door. Well, what you telling us this? You know, like, you need to watch her more often, more closely, you know? But it wasn't just me who told her. It's her mother told her and Allie as well. And when she would be outside, that we finally realized she was outside, if Hunter was there, he'd be the first one to run out the door for her, you know? And he would just run right out the door and he would go after her. And then she'll run and laughing, you know, like it's funny. And Hunter's like, it's not funny. It's not funny. You know, things bad could happen to you. You know, we love you. What are you doing? Don't do this. You know, and she was just joyous. She's just a curious kid. That's all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people understand that about her. There's no question about it. But yeah, and you know, but what else drives Dawn? I mean, you had some observations of some, you know, there was some weird that you mentioned, and you know, what about, you know, the abuse situation from anybody, if anything? Even you raised some red flags, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I walked into that house, I mean, that house just screamed all kinds of dysfunction. I mean, alcohol, drugs, SA. I mean, that, you know, just check each box and keep moving down the hallway. And then when you get to the dungeon and you see what's on the TV, I mean,
shocked. But I could tell you that wasn't Candace watching that.
Well, I don't know who was watching it. I don't know.
No, but that's Dawn all over. That's the type of thing he used to watch.
Okay, fine.
That's him.
And so the question then is, when Dawn comes back from Utah and you're there, that turns into, you know, a problem pretty quickly. I mean, to the point where he goes to jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Felon in possession of a handgun.
Yep.
Idiot.
You're still there, but
correct.
then shortly thereafter, you bail. You leave.
Yeah, I just left. Yeah.
But in between that time, while he was home, you saw some actions that you had described. I heard you say it. Just was kind of pretty problematic, and I don't want to go into it, but
yes, absolutely. You know,
but
and
then,
the more and more I spoke out, the more and more he didn't like it. That was the problem. Because
Okay.
no one spoke out. And this is why I felt that they were afraid of him.
Who's
And
they?
I just, Candace and her mother.
Okay. Okay. But now in retrospect, looking back, when you first tell the FBI after 7 days, there's no way. Did you include the SA allegations or the observations?
No,
How come?
I really wasn't even thinking about that. Honestly,
Okay.
that wasn't even a thought in my mind because I didn't think he was doing any SA2 summer when he was in the bath with her. I just
Mhm.
found it disgusting to take a bath with your daughter.
It depends what time. Usually I record. I think I record tomorrow night, depending on the time. Send me an email if you can.
You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
that was my my trigger
I'll talk about this case whenever I can with anybody.
there. Like, no, I don't think so. But as far
And
as
you
the
confronted
SA, no.
confronted him, right?
Yes,
You con-
yes. I took Summer out of that shower. Yes, I did. I stood there with her pink princess towel because that was her favorite towel, and she always used it. And I remember that towel because that towel would get washed like every other day because Summer will always be dirty because she was outside playing so much,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she
You
will
know, I
always
just
be full of dirt.
I'm just curious, Jose, though, in full transparency, the fact that you have witnessed potentially something that even caused you as a father internally to say, you know what, that DLR, right, does not look right.
Hmm.
And you intervene, and that intervention causes a major disruption between you and a father and a daughter and children and all this other stuff. And then this child goes missing, down the road. Now, mind you, you're gone. Okay.
Hmm.
I get I get that piece, brother. Okay. But at the same time, when the cops and the authorities come to you and you mention, okay, did she go out? They had to have asked about, was there any type of observations or problems in that home that you could at least, give us a little more intel into? And now maybe this was just your mindset at the time, and I don't want to, disrespect you. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm
No,
just saying,
that's
I'm I'm just
no.
saying,
You're right.
this just doesn't it I don't know if it fits. Does that make sense in terms of it is what it is, but if that's what you did and that's the truth, okay, no problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they
But
didn't ask me nothing like that. That I
okay,
could
they didn't
tell
go
you
down that route.
they didn't. No, they did not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It was
Okay.
more like they felt like they did bodily harm to her.
Got it. Okay. So
That's what I got from their questioning to me about them.
yep, absolutely fair enough. Fair enough. And I can see that unfolding just the way it did, just what you're saying. Been there many times, and it has fallen into that point. So, in retrospect, now looking back, what's your opinion?
I should have did something. I really do. I should have did something. Yeah, that's what I honestly believe because I feel that time that I pulled her out the shower, that should have been me. I should have just picked up the phone and called the cops right then and there. But my main worry was that I did that and the cops really didn't do much. They wouldn't have looked at it as he's doing anything bad because we were all in there, while they were in the shower. I didn't even know until I heard her voice. And I was like, where's Summer? Oh, she's in the bath with her dad. I'm like, what? What do you mean with her dad? And Candace was like, yeah, he always takes a bath with her. I'm like, and I just jumped, not jumped, but like I just got off the table right away. And I was like, where's her towel? And I looked and I found it right on the dryer, and I just grabbed it. And I'm like, Summer, and she's like, yes. And she's like, yes, Jose. I said, come out here, baby, just like that. And she's like, okay. And she came out, and I just wrapped her up in the towel, and that's when Dawn came out of the shower, still half full of soap, screaming at me, and I'm like, I really don't, and I was swearing back at her, but I basically told I didn't care because I don't think like that. And then I looked at Candace. I said, matter of fact, you go and take a bath with Summer. I said, this is not going to happen anymore. But looking at that, that's when I should have just picked up the phone and called. But wasn't sure if anything would have happened or not.
Yeah, I mean, you called it the way you saw it. I mean, I understand. Well, go ahead, Josh. What are your thoughts?
Well, you would have been out. First of all, you'd have been out of obviously, you're probably thinking as well, I'm not going to have a place to stay.
No, because at that time I already was working, so I had, money saved up a little bit. So even if I would have got kicked out or I didn't have nowhere to go, I had money for me to at least stay a night or two in a hotel and try to figure out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But that's not where my mindset was. I really didn't. It was a red flag, just not to that extent. It was just kind of like a weird thing to me.
Well, I mean, it was weird enough for you to have a confrontation about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, he confronted me. I didn't confront him. All I did was talk to the baby, pulled her out, and told Candace to take a bath with the baby. That was it.
Right.
I was trying to avoid him at all costs.
I got you.
I was trying to avoid confrontation. I don't like to fight at all. I'd rather de-escalate a situation than make it worse.
So I do have a question as to now, when you showed up there, were you, because you said that you were a full-blown alcoholic at the time. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was pretty much drinking all the time.
You drank basically the whole time you were there with them?
No, not the whole time. No. Once I started to work, I just eased up off the liquor and just went to work. And then maybe 2-3 days would go by, then I'll drink a little something, and that was it. But like me working and then helping them in there, it controlled me. Their situation put me in line. Even though I was going through whatever I was going through, their situation just rattled me enough that I got to stop drinking all the time because I don't know what could happen in here.
Were you there for any birthday parties, Jose? Did the kids have birthday parties?
No birthday parties.
Was anybody's birthday? Did it happen when you were there?
No.
Where were you working at the time?
Celebrated a birthday when you were there. So did the kids actually, any of them have their birthday happen without a birthday party?
I think so. I don't know. That I can't be 100% sure.
No worries.
Yeah, the way this rolls right now, I mean, this is obviously my head is going 1,000 miles an hour with a lot of different direction here. And the one thing I want people to stop, hopefully, is, constantly just beating you, up in terms of the negative comments and stuff. It is what it is right now. But let's be patient and flush through all of this information. I mean, they had you as some other guy, out in the atmosphere, as an RSO, and that's not, you're not that guy. In fact, you're 100% not that guy. And now there may be other idiosyncrasies in relationship to your life. We don't know that. I don't know that. Okay. But the more we kind of hang around and kind of, work through this, okay, then, at this point, let's kind of figure out where you are. I mean, you have come forward. You did talk to the authorities early on.
Hmm.
You're you were struggling with some issues. You're still struggling. I mean, when you called me the other night and we talked for a little while, I could hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
And so
But
at some
you could let your viewers know what I'm going through right now if they want to hear, because of all of what they said, everything that was put out there, for your viewers to listen. I lost my job because of this, because of all the slandering that they've done of accusing me of me being this RSO. I lost my employment. I no longer have a home. I'm homeless now. But does anybody care? No. He's just shredding my life apart. Like, if I'm the one who kidnapped Summer, like if I'm the one who were abusing all these people, and I'm just telling everyone what my experience was there. And it's sad that out of everyone, I'm the only one who can describe Summer, and I don't
Shut
like
up,
calling her that.
Elizabeth.
I always called her half pint.
Such a weird you. So this is why. So is this why you subscribed and waited to say this? BSU on a panel with John Q, a guy along with the rest that stole all that money. Shut up. Shut up. Psychopath.
That was my nickname for her. So it's weird to call her Summer to me. But it's like I'm the only one who knows half pint. Like, I'm a total stranger. In the verge, I already done had tried to commit suicide on 4 different occasions. And
Yeah, really, Elizabeth.
even though it was somewhat of a hell, I was blessed to be around those children. Because that's why I connected with them, because I was already down and out. If I'm willing to take my life 4 times, that meant that my children didn't mean nothing to me.
Yeah,
And being around them woke me up to that, to say, what was
yeah.
I thinking? You know?
And Jose, you're to be
Yeah. Well, if you've been on my channel for years, and if you have been on my channel for years, and I'm telling you that this isn't a hoax, because it's not, and that that the whole raising of the money, all that stuff is so blown. I don't even want to talk about it, because it's such a ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's not a hoax. So you can feel however you want, but it's ridiculous.
that part of your life now, okay? And number one, let's make sure that you're still in a safe situation, right? I mean, you're not in that frame of mind right now where you're thinking about hurting yourself, right? Tell me.
No, I'm really depressed, down and out,
Okay.
hurting, regretful, but I'm not at that point that, oh, I don't want to live anymore. No, I'm not at that
Right.
part. But to see
Okay, and
everything
you
I
and I have
worked
talked
so
about
hard
that the
for,
last couple of days. You and I have talked about that, right? Over the
absolutely,
last couple of days. Okay, and you know
yes.
that you've got my phone number.
I think I need to go to bed. Can you see me up here? And then I'm down there. It's, what time is it? 1 a.m. And yeah, no, I'm not in 2 places at one time. It's an old interview. Getting tired. And Jose's breaking down.
You can call me 24/7. I'd rather have you call me than, you get into a bad spot right there. Okay. So let's just keep that right there. And then second, a lot of times things are going to come back, information wise. And, sometimes we forget. I mean, witnesses forget all the time. And then, they get to a place where they go, oh, that's what I remember. You know where we have the biggest evidence of that? Um, Elizabeth Smart's sister, her little sister. She was saying, I know who this person is. I know who this person is. And for months and months and months, she could not recall. And then one day, all of a sudden, it just happened. And she goes, I know who it was. It was the handyman. And all of that finally came to the surface. Okay. Now, so
It wasn't long. I'm not exactly sure. It was not long. I know that. Within a couple of months, maybe.
some of this, obviously the authorities, you've been talking to them, they've interviewed you multiple times. I mean,
Yeah.
folks have found you, and there's always going to be the question marks, and I have a lot more questions too. I'd be lying to tell you differently, right? Okay.
Mhm.
But I think tonight, that's kind of a full plate that we just put up here, and a lot of this obviously was a retread in relationship to what you had spoken to Justin with an ICU over there, and they're good
Yeah.
people, and they but some of the other stuff, let's kind of make sure that folks are just, let's hold on until we know what the exact truth is in relationship to the totality of the conversation here. Josh, what say you, brother?
Yeah,
Oh, Chris, I'll tell you that I don't know.
Jose, and appreciate you, coming on here and talking to us. Nobody has made you do any of this. I told you before the show when you first appeared on YouTube. I did a show the very next day and said, unfortunately, he has no idea what he just did.
Right.
And like I said, I knew that it was going to get bad for you. I didn't know how bad it would get for you, because the fact of the matter is, Jose, if you said that you have two left feet and you really do have two left feet and you can prove it, people will go, well, why does he have two left feet? He's just weird. Why would somebody make something like that up? It doesn't. Uh, what can be figured out through consistent statements such as like the dogs and um, Hunter said that that the kids would go wander off all the time. You say the same thing. There's a lot of things, but the fact of the matter is the debauchery that was going on in that household up until the point that Summer left, and even after, it is going to be heavily scrutinized. And people, especially in this kind of forum, they don't have respect. A lot of people do. I don't want to say that, but there is a corner of the internet that doesn't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No matter.
They want to make you the suspect. You weren't there when Summer went missing. You have
I don't know. Hopefully
talked
it's
more about
understood.
Summer, or Half Pint, as you call her, than either of her parents. I don't have. I know that you are going through a really rough time, and for that, I am very sorry, and I wish I could have warned you at some point. I've warned others about YouTube. but I'm really glad that you reached out to Chris and to try to, you know, I just
clarify as much as I can.
yeah, and I feel and I do have sympathy for your situation, but and I am happy that you did come talk to us though.
Yeah. Okay. So
Thank you.
one, and so continue the quest. This little girl, who you came to know, and been in the environment there with her. Question for you. Maybe we can do another one. Would you come back if we asked you, invited you back, Jose, to go a little bit deeper?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
would.
Yeah, and it just never happened. Because obviously he passed away. But anyway, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And I guess we'll just sign off, right? Sounds good to me. Uh. Guys, have a good night. Thank you.